There's a dirty trick being utilized by sportsbooks against sports bettors to suck money right out of your sportsbook account. It's shocking and it gives them an unfair advantage over you. I would estimate that 95% of sports bettors are unaware of this. In all of my years in the sports betting industry, which is my whole life, I've never seen something so harmful to sports bettors or more shisty than what I'm about to expose today. The good news is there's a simple fix for this which completely counteracts it. You've just got to know what to do. As usual, the sports books don't want you to know this information, and no one else is talking about it. I'm J.V. Miller. My family's been betting on sports professionally for 3 generations. More professional and sharp bettors subscribe to our private podcast and newsletter than any service in the world. I'm a math person. Even for math people, and I'm talking math wizards, this one is hard to spot. It's a secret, quiet little ingredient of harm that works in the background, draining your bankroll without your knowledge. It's a very simple element, but it has a huge impact. Here's what I'm talking about. Sportsbooks covertly force or strongly encourage you or trick you into constantly changing the size of your bets. This is dirty pool. It's trick math. Turns out constantly betting different amounts on different wagers drastically raises your break-even percentage, and nobody knows this. Why this happens is hidden deep in the math. But there's an exercise we're going to do in this video that proves that this is happening without any question. It's a mathematical fact. Who would have thought that something so innocent sounding as changing the bet size would make such a big difference? Who would have thought that altering the size of your bet would have any effect at all on the break-even percentage, or that they would even be connected? And this is the number one reason most bettors cannot for the life of them come out ahead. The sportsbooks love it when you change the size of your bets. In fact, they set up their portals in a manner that makes it easy for you to do this. Okay. The way to counteract this powerful force working in the background to bleed your bankroll dry is to keep your bets the same dollar amount for significant periods of time. I explain how to do this in this video right here, Sports Betting Secret Math and the 95% Rule, or you can Google the Miller Flat Betting System. Now, let me show you a fascinating exercise that exposes the truth about what happens when you change the size of your bets. Right there in front of your own eyes, you'll be able to see for yourself this in action. You can use this exercise, by the way, to test out any bankroll management system. But first, I hope you're enjoying and benefiting from this video. If you think you'd benefit from hearing from me every morning in a private podcast exclusively for our subscribers, during which I reveal my bets for the day and the reasons I reach those conclusions, I explain the betting systems, the formulas, the best practices, etc., then go to professionalgambler.org. Our podcast is ad-free and we don't dumb down the content for the masses. So here's the exercise we're talking about. To know if changing the size of your bets is harmful, we will test it out on a hypothetical series of bets that mimics the break-even percentage, which is 52.38%. The break-even percentage is not 50% due to the VIG. The best way to simulate the break-even percentage of 52.38% is to simply line up 21 hypothetical wagers, 11 wins, and 10 losses. That's exactly 52.38%. So anytime you win 11 wagers and you lose 10, you should break even. You may have heard the expression before, 11 to win 10, or minus 110 to win 100. This is where that comes from. 11 is 52.38% of 21. So after 11 wins and 10 losses, you should be exactly where you started. That's breaking even. We will run 2 simulations. The first, we're going to flat bet, as in we're going to bet the same dollar amount all the way up and down. And the second simulation, we're going to change the size of the bet before every wager and then compare the results. One thing should be clear though, before we even begin, and that is when winning 11 and losing 10 at minus 110 odds, you should end up exactly with what you started with. If not, your bankroll management system, the way you sized your bets, is causing your break-even percentage to go up. It's stealing from you, in other words. Now, the intriguing thing about this exercise before we run the simulation is it doesn't matter in what order you line up the wins and losses. The outcome is the same. You can line up all the wins to come first or last, it doesn't matter. For our simulation today, we'll line the wins up like this: win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, all the way up and down. Both simulations are going to start with a $10,000 hypothetical bankroll, and both will start with a 2% unit, which is $200. Okay, for the first simulation, let's see what happens. We have a $10,000 bankroll, betting $200 per bet, same dollar amount all the way up and down, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Run the simulation. And finally, at the very end, you can see that the amount you end up with is exactly $10,000. Pardon the overage of $2, that's just the model rounding. So flat betting has a neutral effect, and that's what we want. That's what we're going for. Now for simulation number 2, we're going to run the exact same simulation, except for we will change the bet size before every wager. So that there's some kind of order to this, what we'll do is just refigure the 2% bet size based on the current bankroll before every wager. Instead of betting the same dollar amount up and down, we will actually refigure the 2% every wager based on the different bankroll at that moment. So these will be small changes, but that's the best way to do this, to highlight how harmful even small changes are to your bankroll. So you can imagine how bad big changes would be. So we're starting with a $10,000 bankroll and a $200 bet to start off with. The first bet we win, okay? The second bet's going to be different than the first bet because we're adjusting to 2% before every wager, right? So you can see the second bet is different. Now let's run the rest of the simulation. And lo and behold, at the end of 11 wins and 10 losses, rather than breaking even, just by slightly changing the bet size, you have less money in your bankroll. Lo and behold, at the end of 11 wins and 10 losses, rather than break even, you have less money in your account than what you started with. Where did the money go? It disappears into thin air. This is what happens when you jiggle the size of your bets. These were very small changes to the bet size. Again, can you imagine how high the break-even percentage would be if you made big changes? This is how the sports books continue to win even when you have winning picks. And it's by no coincidence that sports bettors are introduced to bankroll management systems that are advertised as advantageous to us, supposedly to optimize our bet size or to maximize our winnings or to protect us from losing streaks or being able to win more than the law of numbers will permit. You probably heard of systems like this, like the Kelly criterion or the martingale system or the star betting system. These systems are all very different, but they do one thing all the same. They all have one thing in common. They require that you constantly change the size of your bets, don't they? Your chances of beating the sports books are actually pretty good if you follow the right bankroll management and you bet winning picks. The video you should watch next is Brainwashed Sports Bettors. The link is below. I hope this was helpful. Please like and subscribe and click notifications and leave a comment. I read every one and I try to respond to all of them. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. I'm JV Miller. Change the way you bet, change the way you live. Good luck.